Two months ago, the state health department selected 3 dispensaries to start selling medical marijuana in Rhode Island. And about a week or 2 afterwards, Peter Neronis delivered a letter to Governor Chafee saying, threatening prosecution if these places open. I'm just wondering what your position is on that. And number 2, if in fact Governor Chafee does issue the licenses, will you prosecute these dispensaries? And would you go after state employees who are involved in licensing and regulation of these facilities?
Well, I think we have to start with the policy pronouncement that we made, which was that with regard to the limited federal resources that we have, we were not going to use those resources to target individuals who were complying with state law and using marijuana for medical purposes. Now, there has been some, not only in Rhode Island, but in other states as well, I guess some questions about that policy, and we're trying to work to clarify exactly through the letter that Peter sent and through other means, to try to clarify, not only in Rhode Island, but in other parts of the country as well, exactly what that policy is going to mean, how it can be implemented. And so we are in continuous, I think, conversation about that in Rhode Island, in other parts of the country as well. And we hope to bring clarity so that people will understand what this policy means and then how the policy can be implemented.
But it wasn't looking for clarity on how the program's going to be implemented. It was pretty much saying if you do it, people are going to get prosecuted and there are going to be raids and there are going to be, we're not going to allow this to happen.
We're in conversation with our counterparts here in Rhode Island. The letter was sent, and I think I thought, fairly clear. On the other hand, to the extent that it was not, and issues are still out there, questions that are still have not been resolved, we are continuing this dialogue so that we get to a point where the policy pronouncements that we have made will be understood by all people with effects.
General, what would your message be to those Rhode Islanders who are legally able to use medical marijuana, have been deemed eligible to use it because of an illness, but who are not legally able to obtain marijuana and who are concerned about their safety and being able to do so?
Well, these are things that we need to work through. I mean, I think the policy that we put in place made a lot of sense, given, as I said, the limited resources that we have, given the way in which we expected that marijuana would be used, people with end-stage disease, people with chronic diseases. And so what we have to do is try to effectuate that policy in a way that we give comfort to somebody who is using it appropriately and make sure, as I said, that we are using our resources in the most effective way.
Should state workers be fearful of being prosecuted if they do work in the health department with the medical marijuana program?
Again, we are trying to work through these issues with the governor, with other representatives from the state. We've got a great U.S. attorney here who will be backed up by his counterparts in Washington, D.C. as we try to work our way through these issues.
But General, what are the issues? This is not just in Rhode Island. There's half a dozen states that are in the same situation.
Yeah.
So what's the issue with state-provided compassion centers or state distribution of medical marijuana?
Well, as we made that policy change, that policy pronouncement, it was something that we viewed in a very narrow way to deal with people who, as I said, had end-stage diseases, chronic diseases, where there was the possibility, the expectation that the use of marijuana would alleviate the pain that they might be suffering, deal with the consequences of their diseases. We don't want this to be seen as something that was legalization. We don't want this to expand beyond the exception that we carved out. And so what we have to do is work with our counterparts in the state government to deal with this. I mean, this is something that's new. I mean, we have to understand that. And, we're in a process that will involve dialogue, communication. And I think at the end of that process, at the end of that dialogue, people will understand and we'll be in a better place than, frankly, we are right now.
Can you imagine a form of compassion center that would comply with the law, that would not invite prosecution? Is there some sort of scaled-down version or something that would pass muster? Any thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that at the end of this conversation, at the end of the dialogue, we'll be in a place where we are, as enforcers of the drug laws, we are satisfied that people are doing things that are consistent with the policy pronouncement that we made. But I think we can